All right, welcome to Calling Audible. It is the NBA Draft Edition as we will go live to a few draft picks.
As they're drafted, it'll be fun.
We'll do that throughout the course of the night here. Luka Doncic going to the Atlanta Hawks with the number 3 pick. However, we have our top 3 picks here, even though there's 4 of them plus yours truly. Who's my first overall pick? Peeze Delarizi.
That's right. What's up, party people?
For what?
Hold on.
For life.
You said Peeze, but you pointed to Simone.
No, I was pointing this way.
You're still pointing at Simone.
That's like that trick you do in the playground where you're pointing at the kid who sucks, but you can call the name of someone, the guy you actually want. So
Exactly.
sorry, Simone.
Peeze Delarizi, Simone Dagenet. GM is my number 2 pick, and Eagle is
The GM.
second round pick. Yeah, exactly. So we will do random live look-ins or listen-ins to the
Also,
NBA draft.
we have another game going on.
Yes, we will unveil the top 70
really
adult films.
Are we naming 70 or are we naming random
14
numbers?
per
70, the top 70 adult films of all
And
time.
you can write in your favorites if you want, Sean.
In honor of
Mate,
Mike Roy, who's
mate.
now 70 days porn-free. Congratulations.
My
Congratulations. It's not easy. I'm not even on 7 hours of porn-free.
No, you're not.
And I spent a few of those hours with Simone today, so
So weird.
bathroom visits were frequent.
So let's talk about spending time on the Division E podcast. And as we now 6 weeks through and 4 to go, and again, as we said last week, 5 games to qualify for playoffs. So from this point onwards, any guys you bring on board will not be eligible for playoffs unless you have a God's note to inform FPF that.
No,
they were,
unless he played before.
yes.
I also, before we do that, though, I just wanted to thank Stefan Berardi and Alex Hallweg for filling in. You guys were awesome. I would have called it the show, but I couldn't for the same reasons. I couldn't drive that evening.
Yeah, listen.
I didn't want to call in.
I know you don't want to call in.
You ran out of data?
Both reasons.
It was the worst.
My
Wi-Fi
GPS
I've
isn't
ever-
working.
It was the worst Wi-Fi I've ever experienced. I tried to load Facebook. It kept crashing.
You're in Jamaica. You don't need Wi-Fi.
There you go.
If you need Wi-Fi in Jamaica, you're not doing it right, or you're still virgin.
Sophie told me, "Hey, it's Thursday. Don't you have something to do?"
You're right. Let me go to the washroom and take care of myself. All right, let's dive into the week that was for Div E1, E2, gentlemen.
Yes,
I will
sir.
start with you, PC, the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
What caught your attention from this past week's action?
So I guess one of the things that caught my eye is a topic for later, so we'll save it. Les Amateurs de Sac taking another loss after starting the season fairly strong.
Are we surprised, though?
Well, not at this point. Although it was a tight game, and Sandbaggers are better than they get credit for. I wrote that in my mid-season report. For those of you who haven't read it yet,
I have not.
a review of all the teams in Division E with way too many 80s references. So the Sandbaggers are obviously too young to understand any of those references. But I will say
Nice.
their quarterback in the game that against where we were playing was Greg Lee. Was quite good, except this game here, 4 interceptions. So, like he was you were there. Like he was solid. He was thrown to the back of the end zone. I was very impressed by him. But they fight through the 4 interceptions. Olivier Godard comes in, captain of the team. He throws 3 interceptions. So 7 interceptions total. But he also throws 3 touchdowns. And it makes you think, how many possessions were in this goddamn game? If you threw 7 interceptions and scored 5 wait a second. They scored there was defensive scores as well.
That's with Peeze.
But like you had at least 8 possessions in this game. That's pretty nuts.
Could have been a value of 56 points going your way.
Yeah, exactly. But they got defensive touchdowns from Tyler Nurse and Olivier Godard. And then on the other side of the ball, Amateur de Sac, like Maxime Leblanc throwing 8 interceptions.
8 picks.
Yeah, but-
This was the craziest game of all time. It was wild.
So
It was like
so there was 12 interceptions total.
yeah,
Is what you're saying.
absolutely.
That's Simone Dagenet level of INTs.
Yeah.
And how many touchdowns?
A total of 5 touchdowns.
So
Offensively.
So minimum 17 possessions.
Yeah.
So Kevin Wyeth, who's probably thrown 12 INTs in the last 6 seasons,
If
that
that.
feat was accomplished by 2 teams in one
Mhm.
game. The total of 12.
In the same game, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, like
17 possessions though.
Maxime Leblanc
Minimum.
had 9 completions, and like in FPF, it's hard to throw under double-digit completions, but to throw as many completions to their team, almost 8 interceptions. That's nuts.
The game that I saw it lived up to the complete hype that we bestowed on Los Avocados Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
And Avocados winning 19-18. It was a good game. I really was impressed by both teams. It was a very low-scoring game, but it was a defensive slugfest in the first half. I thought both teams played really well. Timely plays by both sides.
We didn't really expect that, did we?
I thought it would be high scoring, but this was a game where Josh Vasquez was able to spread the ball beyond Tom Zorko, and I was impressed by his ability to believe in the other guys to make a third down conversion on fourth down as well. And Pat Ahmad was not the dominant. Like, he looked ordinary. He had some bad balls. In fact, the last play of the game, the second to last play, took a 12-yard loss in his sack, the ball going over his head.
Mm-hmm.
So he, essentially from his 5-yard line, last play, throws the ball. Where does it hit? The ceiling of Saint Laurent, and the game's over. And so a great game ends with a dud of a ball.
I thought I was going to come into this game and come in and like reflect on this game and moo because I thought Guardians would win. But instead, I will gentlemanly clap for the Avocados. Very happy for them. Thank you, Eagle, for the support. Honestly, Avocados team doing it right. I like what they're doing, unlike the cheating of the Guardians. But honestly, when you see Joshua Vasquez getting 40 yards on the ground and a touchdown, like, that's a team that's living by what they do. They play strong defense. Josh Vasquez, absolute two-way threat. He's not afraid of it. He's not saying, like, look, I want to turn into a refined passer. He's going out and he's making plays, and that's what it took for them to get beyond the cheating, the moo, or the
Yes, you go.
Do you want the moo anyways?
Yeah, give it to me. There we go.
But, it's obviously with this new playoff format, chances are we probably won't see these teams play each other in the playoffs.
Well, they'll both be in the UN playoffs.
Yeah, but what's the odds of them? The odds are
they may fall both in the middle seeds, though. You know what I mean?
Never know, right?
How many teams make playoffs?
So
16?
16 per side.
Odds are 1 in 8 that they will play each other.
Yeah,
maybe better.
In fact, it's exactly 1 in 8.
Thank you for maths, Jim.
But they just came off this showcase game, and obviously, Simone, myself, and staff are the ones who will do the final stamping of approval.
I forgot about that.
Yes, you did. And
they
both showed to me at this point in the year that they're going to be worthy E1 playoff teams.
Well, and the thing is, especially Los Avocados, and we'll talk about the strength of schedule later, they have the second toughest schedule so far in Division E. And they have the best record now.
There you go.
They just beat the only were they both undefeated? Yeah, both undefeated coming to the game. They're now the only undefeated team in Division E.
So does that put their value higher?
I mean, look, if you're putting strength of schedule is going to be a thing that you look at, and if you're looking at head-to-head matchups and you're ranking teams, it's one thing if it's a week 1 or 2 game, but halfway through the season, and it looked like all of Avocados were there. It looked like all the Guardians were better, and it's a measuring contest, and one team whipped it out.
Yep.
And it was quite long.
I got a game for you.
Yes.
Wow. I got a game for you. So earlier in the season, we trashed Broken Ankles saying they're garbage.
Yeah.
They were 0-3, and now they're 500, 3-3. They just beat Bruins 24-19.
Impressive win, though.
Is it an impressive win, or should this be what Broken Ankles should be able to do?
No, I disagree. I think Bruins are a better team.
Okay.
I think Bruins are a better team, and like if I'm ranking the best quarterbacks in the division, Gab Wiseman is up there. Gab Wiseman has had such an impact on that franchise. Plus, they have Zach Zwern.
So
plus, they have a lot of unknown guys like Antoine Hayen that aren't as well known. Whereas you just recognize a couple of the names. Plus, you have a French bias.
That's true.
So
this
you're automatically going to give them.
This is a big win for you for Broken Ankles.
I blame them for wearing the white uniforms, Bruins.
Yeah, seriously, nobody wants you in white.
Okay.
Dress up. You're going out. Dress up.
It's true. They have 2 uniforms, a black and a white uniform, and they wore the whites against Broken Ankles.
Yeah. Well, because white fits. Why would you? Not?
Black is more intimidated. That's why. There was a theory back.
I mean, especially if you ask police officers.
Well, there was a theory in the '90s, right? A lot of the NHL teams, the NBA teams, wore black because they thought it was an intimidating color.
They also had that weird side stripe that would end halfway up the jersey. Like the Flames did that.
Or the Vancouver Canucks one there. That's like the V.
That's true. They did the double up stripe.
That was ugly.
It was pointing right to their parts.
Plus, let's not forget the instant classic, white men can't hump.
There we go. There we go. Now we know.
Number
70.
A game you and I watched.
I can't wait for 69.
Oh, it's going to be the best.
I think that was the title.
What about
A game you and I watched Mokan Brewers this week against replacements.
Your
boy Dwight Brown looked uncoverable.
He did, and I
kept
thought
running
Jeff
up the sideline,
Lefebvre
man.
had a good game.
Yes, he made a few mistakes.
He did.
But let's be honest, the snaps that were given to him, because he's the quarterback, were horrendous. They were the worst snaps I've seen in a long
Now,
time.
here's a question. You saw the snaps. Does Peeze run a faster 5-out before the
It's
snap?
not the snapper the problem. It's the snaps themselves. Yeah, I think he had like 4 sacks based on snaps alone.
But what's he doing wrong?
So-
Either it's over his head, either the ball doesn't get to him.
One of the things we noted actually when we went to help Brewers last season was the snap was horrendous. And teams need to realize, and I feel like it's not always the case in Division E, that your snapper touches the ball every play. So you need to have a good snapper.
Yes.
And it's not just because I'm a snapper and
No,
therefore
I play
I think
quarterback.
it's important.
You need a good snapper, otherwise.
We talk about it all the time that the 3 most essential positions in all of FPF, regardless
Right
of
up
the
the middle.
division, right up the middle: quarterback, snapper, rusher.
The spine.
Yep.
The spine of an offense against the spine of the defense. But you see, the thing with Jeff Lefebvre, and as Simon made the point before, he completed balls to 7 different players. Whereas a month ago, he was barely able to complete 2 passes to 1 player.
No, if you take the snaps away, he played well. He had a decent game. He
Yeah.
was able to feed Dwight Brown up the sideline a lot. The guy was breaking open every play, man.
I mean, he has 3 catches. So
Eric
you fight him 3
Palusiak
times.
was...
But every time I turned around, he was catching a
So
deep
you
route.
just turned around 3 times.
it was the same route, though. And I think for replacements, and like I know they like to complain, good guys, but they have a quarterback problem.
See, I don't think that's the case. I've seen Frank Tilicola throw before.
This is bad, though. This is the
Maybe
third
it's
game
my
I've
Italian
worked at.
bias, but I will
Probably
say
is.
I will say it's a little bit of he's still understanding how routes open up in FPF and how to read defense.
But they don't run proper routes. They don't run routes.
But also
though.
the thing is, his players also don't execute the routes. Is what I've seen. Is it you could tell you had to run a hook and then like he sort of like bubbles in for like 5 yards across the field into a defender. You know, they're covering themselves with horribly run routes.
What I've also noticed when watching replacements a few times at Brossard is the team itself has potential, but they're not using the right plays that works for them.
Yeah.
The quarterback can run. Like, he's fast. Every time he runs, it usually gets a chunk of yardage, 6, 7, 9 yards. It works well for them. Obviously, you can't use it every second play, but the option is there. The shorter patterns usually work because they're bigger body guys that catch footballs in traffic. The problem is when they go deep. He doesn't have the greatest arm to go deep 40 bombs. So either wait till
You better go
midfield
20.
and give yourself only 20 yards to throw instead of 40, or go underneath all the time. They're very good when they go underneath. Every time they go deep, the ball is lost, the receiver's lost, the DBs make plays, and that's when things turn sour for them.
Yeah.
So maybe scratch off all these plays out of your playbook, keep playing underneath the defense, and maybe you'll drive the field better.
I saw the Genosaurus Rex getting a win over Average Joe's.
That looks impressive.
That's a big one.
Average Joe's have like I feel the opposite trajectory of Childish Gambino. Like so everyone took him as a joke when he started and now he's like legit in rap game. Average Joe's, that's your season in reverse. Everyone gave you undue credit when you're beating up on winless teams. You face another team who you should have beaten and you lose 25-13.
So you're saying they lost all credit because of one game?
Well, not one game, they lost 3 in a row.
Back to Derek.
How about you pay attention to Division E, Simon Dagenet?
That's a lot of
It's
losses.
below his,
I think they will need to
Peeze
also,
go.
like Childish, reinvent themselves at this point. 'Cause
Nice.
It's not working.
Nice, it's not.
Oh,
But
breaking
Joey
news.
Taylor, 2 INTs.
Breaking news.
Yeah, well, it helps to have Joey Turner on the team.
Peasy. Trey Young going to the Dallas Mavericks, number 5.
Eagle. Whoa, so not Mobamba.
Not Mo Bamba.
Interesting.
La Bamba, Ma Bamba.
Although I like Trey Young.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's getting too much credit for what he's done.
He's very good in college.
Yeah, but we'll see if that
What do they do
translates.
with Dan Smith, though?
Hmm.
That's a good question. Can they coexist in the back?
Positionless, baby.
Mo
We've seen it.
Bamba, could he be
Maybe.
heading to Orlando or Chicago? We'll see. As you're saying before, Peasy.
This is supposed to be your thing.
This is hard.
Porn
It's your wheelhouse,
titles and
bro.
NBA.
Come
I'm
on,
not
Eagle.
asking you that much.
It's a live listen-in, man. You just turn on the mic. Oh, we're going live right after the NBA
Yeah.
draft.
And what's the title of your next sex tape?
I had it, and now I went to watch the draft.
You're probably watching the
I
video
love-
yourself.
That's a great title.
I love it. The first thing he says is, "Yo, guy, it's hard."
Also, the title of your next sex tape.
I was gonna go with the classic horror movie Village of the Rammed.
Nice.
Oh, man. That's a
These are
small
these are
favorite.
punerific right here.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Ducks, man. The Ducks are flying under the radar slowly but surely. somehow their best player doesn't catch footballs.
Yeah, but do you take that
Martin,
one over?
Martin Jackson has 1 catch for like 6
But
yards.
do you take that one over?
Okay, but
Jean-Guy?
also wait. You're saying this is so you accuse me of reacting to one game.
Yes.
They just won their second game of the season, first since
Yes.
week 1, and they beat Jean-Guy, who have been
Yeah,
a living
exactly.
tire fire.
They're a forest fire now, Jean-Guy.
Yeah, it's
we
better.
are going to go live now to
18
the
NBA
draft.
draft. The Orlando Magic select Mohamed Bamba.
Oh!
Hey,
Magic!
Mo Bamba, baby.
The Bulls got screwed.
Yeah.
The
Sorry,
Bulls got screwed. Okay.
sorry, buddy.
We'll find out next. We'll go live to the Bulls pick. We'll see what my reaction is, right? I'm not going to look at anything. Don't tip me at all. We'll go live from our reaction for the Bulls pick, all right?
Right.
Carry on, please.
Don't miss it.
Don't mess it up now, Eagle.
Every week we give you more to do. It's
There's a
amazing.
So we're talking about the Ducks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your friends. I mean, there's potential there, man. Like the team.
And they have Matt DeMoss at quarterback now.
I also
Yes.
have great news. We have a write-in.
Who? From who?
This will make you happy.
Oh.
I'm upset for
It's not
him,
my mom.
but no. Andel.
Oh,
Hey.
yeah. All right.
I came
Andel.
here to avoid NBA draft spoilers, and now Smo spoiled it. I'm out.
Aw. No, stay with us. We'll make it worse.
Don't worry.
Yeah, they will.
I love you.
As you're saying with the Ducks, though.
Yeah, they have Matt DeMoss quarterback. Should help. I don't know how many games Martin Jackson has played, but
He's been there, generously, but he's like an added piece because I don't think.
Yeah.
I also don't think he's the best player. You're
don't
you're
think-
biased because you know him.
you don't think he's the best player?
No,
Who's better than him?
Karim Morisset's a monster.
But he's
Patrick
good, but
Saint-Martin is
he's-
amazing.
but
I don't know if
Morisset's
Saint
inconsistent,
Saint
though.
Laurent's on the team this season, but
I know Senarez is on team.
Marset's inconsistent, though, I find. He has
but
good
the
games,
thing
but
is, okay, so like I've watched a couple of games and there's some games where they don't throw to him until like deep in the second half, and it's hard to expect a guy to be in the game when you haven't used him all game.
But,
you
but
know?
that's Matt DeMoss though. Like
Yeah.
there's drives where you're not going to be, even if you're open. He doesn't use certain receivers all the time. He likes to toss the ball around, and you're going to get your fair share of targets, just not necessarily all in the same drive, right?
Yeah.
look, the game that I saw, we'll go to topics soon enough. Your Ranchers against Grinders quickly.
It'll be in my article too, so I'll let you do this.
Ranchers again. The Grinders are an okay team, but I think Ben Reed. I know you're high on him.
He's okay. So Ben Reed has a fantastic arm, but he stares down receivers. We talked
Yeah.
about this during the game. And
Yeah.
at some point, we're looking at the game together. It's like, so he's going there, and we knew exactly where the ball was going before he
Deep
even threw the ball.
That's one of the things in Division E. They don't know the power of the look off yet.
Like he has
Even if you just look off into the distance and then go to your
like
receiver.
he has a great mechanic, and the ball comes out fast, and you could make every throw. But the problem is, everybody knows where the ball's going.
Yeah.
And I'm not playing, and I knew where the ball was going. So imagine.
Yeah, it's different when you're playing against Simon Dagenet
I
with the
think-
sidearm, no look.
I think the Ranchers, though, we've hyped them up so much because we like his game. Ricardo de Rosier. I just find they don't utilize him well enough on offense.
Correct,
he's a
but
big
for
target
me,
in the red zone. He's
Ranchers,
gotta
is,
be.
it's been all defense. Like I don't care.
It is their defense.
I don't
yes.
care for their offense at all. It's very pedestrian. I love their defense.
Yep.
Their defense is a high division. It's a division, let's say 4 defense playing in Division E.
It's really
They
good.
communicate
But they
well.
allowed
They move well
24
together.
points this week.
What happens? I mean,
Grinders
when you
scored
don't have
4
an
times.
offense, you can't possess the ball. It's gonna
Well,
happen.
they scored 27.
Yeah.
Eagle, where are we at now for the draft? Now for the NBA? We're almost there for the
We're
Bulls?
waiting for the Bulls to pick.
Excellent. That's my
Three-
team.
3:35 left.
Yes. So we got
Mokan, a fan of the Bulls and the Merlins.
They have 3 minutes
Merlins.
on the
Who the
clock.
hell's the Merlins?
Merlins.
Jesus Christ. So big
Top
upset.
team in Wizardry. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Or Wizards? You talking about the Washington Wizards?
Big-
the Merlins.
Big game this week. In my opinion, it's an upset. Bulldogs beating Savages 31-14.
Well, so they're the same. They're both super hyper athletic teams.
I mean, I like
Who are learning?
I like Savages. I think it's a good team, but they lost by 17.
Yeah. Okay. But the score is more
The
surprising.
score.
But you know, but okay. Yes and no. You see this a lot in Division E. Teams that are like really hype and young and fast and quick. When things don't go their way, they just lose control of the game, and the game gets away from them.
Okay. So do you think that's what it was?
I believe
just like
so.
a one-off.
I believe so. They're both teams that like their ego feeds their ability.
Yeah, I like Bulldogs, but
You
I
know?
think Savages is one of the better, not named, not
Correct.
type
But to me, I'm not surprised. Like I would have been like that's a pick'em game for me. Like it's one way or the other. They're
Okay.
roughly the same kind of team, but then like the score is a bit surprising. Except I've seen this happen. It's more of like a tale of Division E versus a tale of this game.
Okay.
It's just the kind of game that happens when you're new. You're still learning. You get down on yourself. You know, like a team that's new. oh damn, we gave up a score. We gotta go for it now. And then like, okay,
Yeah.
well, 4 and out. Oh nah, now they have the ball in your 10. You know, like it's a different kind of game.
All right, before we get to the next topic, where are we at now for the Bulls pick?
Most desperate.
Commercials.
All right, commercials. Keep us. Just dive into it when we go with the pick. Schedule analyzer now.
That just like looking at the commercial, it seems like it's a commercial for a sexual help issue,
What?
and
It's
you
a
wouldn't
credit
need
card.
you wouldn't need Viagra if you were watching.
There was a bunch of penguins and waterfalls.
That's the name of the title. That's the name of the movie. The 68th best porn movie of all time.
No, because the
69.
I was
commercial.
clearly leading to that. I was
yeah,
filibustering
the segue
for
didn't
you.
work out as well.
All right. This is one of the best movies of the 90s. You've Got Mail.
Nice.
Oh,
But
wow.
Was it
M-A-L-E.
you got nailed?
No, Mail.
Mail.
M-A-L-E.
Oh, mail. I see.
Schedule analyzer. An update now with that. I know we've released that. We launched it last week, giving out the first of what will be the next few weeks of updates here. Eagle, anything that caught your attention for us to chew on from the strength of schedule of what teams have now gone through a gauntlet of horrors of teams here?
Lemons and Oakhart. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So one of the things I realized is sorry, I made a mistake. For Los Angeles have actually had the hardest schedule again. So that's
Yes, which is
pretty
big,
amazing.
right? I mean, you
Yeah.
get to value that number as being a key factor why they will be a solid E1 playoff.
But like
team.
some of the bottom feeding teams at the moment, it's not even their fault. Like Lemons,
why are they
XD,
cowards?
the Genesis Rex, Oakhart, they're all top 10 most difficult schedules. So like, even if you remove, so like, okay, well, yes, but also the teams that they faced also played them, so it's a win, right?
Yes.
But then, even when you remove that game, because we're taking track of like game opponents' win percentage excluding the game, it's like, oh my god, they're still getting screwed. Eagle.
Yeah, exactly that. So we have the opponent win percentage, which is.
So out of it, he's like, what's going on here?
I'm trying to make sure I don't miss the pick. That's
Yeah,
why.
I know.
So yeah, we have the calculation of your opponent's win record, but then to add to that, if you've played a bunch of teams that basically you lost to, we don't want that to kind of influence their win ratio. So we subtract those, and you still have like teams where it's like 70% is the teams that are playing against.
Right
you know?
now,
Brutal.
to exclude the top and the bottom of the strength of schedule, middle pack of teams, can we list off some teams here, and we'll give our viewpoint on
Yeah,
these
and we'll
teams
see
here.
like how they reacted. So like Ducks, for
Exactly.
example, like again a little bit underperforming, but their schedule's
We
not
have
good.
an
here we
early
go.
trade to announce.
Oh my God!
Trade.
The Atlanta Hawks trade the draft rights to Luka Doncic, the third pick to the Dallas Mavericks.
What?
For the draft rights to Trae Young, the fifth pick, and a future first-round pick.
That we knew.
Really?
Well, they're saying that Doncic they were looking to
And
trade down
now
to get
with
Trae
the
Young.
seventh pick
Here we go.
in the 2018
Come on,
NBA
Michael Porter.
draft, the Chicago Bulls select Wendell Carter Jr.
All right, I'll take it.
from Duke University.
You have no choice. Getting back to so Ducks have struggled, broken ankles, but like and Brewers, all of them sort of in the middle of the pack. But the U Glow Gang fighting Flamingos Clinkers, Guardians, that's a strong group of teams that have faced teams that are not the strongest, but definitely like there's no free games for them either.
What's the numbers right now for those teams, the Eagle, that Peeze has listed right now? Strength of schedule for the middle pack teams.
It's hard because I'm on my phone, so it's easier if you.
I don't have it open.
Go the other way around.
So in the meantime, I'll tell the story of I wish that we had the opportunity to broadcast the NFL draft while we were doing this podcast, because watching Mo watch the NFL draft was something else.
I know.
Especially when it came to Oakland's pick of Colton Smith, which called
Miller.
Colton Miller, sorry. Stiff, flat-footed. It like legit ruined Mo's day.
It
you
was the
thought-
weekend. I was not happy.
If you thought Mo was pissed at Simon, you should have seen what happened to the draft.
Why were you pissed at small?
Watch the video.
So
it's everywhere on the internet.
So like Lil Glow Gang, for example, actually they're the only other undefeated team in over there in E1. So their opponents' win percentage is 53%. You know, Brewers have faced teams in they're looking at teams at 66% win percentage.
Can we go
You
the
know,
other way?
we're doing numbers radio at this point.
Can you
Like
give me the other way?
55%.
Give me the three teams with the weakest win ratio against them.
Okay, so
And are they good?
the right now the teams with the weakest schedule so far, the Zamatar de Sac, and they're not winning games.
Okay.
Average Joes
and they're
Ooh,
winning.
The schedule's starting, but they were the worst, and now they had the easiest schedule. Now it's the second easiest.
Okay,
So they went 3-0, and now they're 0-3 since
And
then.
now they're,
So as the
they're-
schedule's
so
getting
they're
harder,
really so they are a product of the schedule, really.
yeah. The first 3 games they had played teams with a combined 1 win. EZW is the next one, but EZW I feel like they probably still be at one of the top.
So
teams.
EZW, if you watch them play against, let's say, bad teams, they beat on teams badly. Like they'll win 50-6 and they'll destroy them. When they play teams up to their level, they're not there. They struggle against team up to their level. So I'm curious to see what happens when they'll finally have like tougher opponents in front of them, because they lost the 2 games they had against tougher opponents.
That's true.
But here's
That's
the question, though, right? We always talk about, in NCAA basketball, there's always that bubble teams that don't get in, right? Should they expand to whatever it is, right? Looking at it right now for the E2 playoffs today, Peeze and Simone,
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
how many teams can play in the E1 playoffs right now? Because right now,
How many
there's
could
8.
or how many should?
How many should? Because you have 8 teams who are 2 games above 500 at 4-2 or better.
I would stick
So
with-
are we saying, sorry, Simon, are we saying that the teams 7 and 8 are worthy to be in the E1 playoffs, or are we going to say only the top 4 can go into the E1 playoffs?
I don't think it'll be necessarily like it doesn't have to be an even number. Like it doesn't have to be like, okay, well the top 4 move up, the bottom 4 move down. I don't think it's necessarily the case. I think like we don't know anything when we're placing the teams beginning of the season, right?
It's true.
We have very little information on most of these teams.
So what about a team like Petchenplan? They're 3-2-1. We had them as the Uber team of the world. Now,
Yeah, so
they
but like it
are-
depends. So like and now you guys are on a selection committee, right? So I'll tell you how I would look at it.
Selection committee.
So if Vince Pisano comes back and they win their last 3 games, and
But I don't think it will, though.
but either way, I'm saying when Vince Pisano was there, they're a dominant team.
With
And
Anthony Siege, too.
What's
and
a,
Anthony Siege, well, that's it. They're missing their 2 marquee players, right?
2 or
Right.
3 key
Yeah.
players.
they're both injured for those who are curious to know.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the thing is like if he comes back, that's an E1 playoff team most likely, and the record's not reflective of their ability.
So we're doing
Fair.
like a Syracuse.
So it's not
thing.
just hey 4 wins. Well, no, now their quarterback's back. They're 4-0 with their quarterback. you know.
Yeah.
So we're pulling Syracuse from last year's NCAA tournament when people were criticizing why are they in the tournament, end up going to the Final
See,
Four.
we get to do all the things that we criticize, like the mainstream for doing because we have nothing to lose.
But it also gives us that edge where, like you said, if your best player is out for 4 weeks and you lose all 4 games, doesn't
Yeah.
make you a bad team when he comes back. But if you're basing solely on record, then
Like, look,
There's a bias there,
Pension
too.
Plan beat Los Banditos. I
Yep.
mean, fairly handily. It was a close
Yeah.
game, but they controlled it all game.
So the quality win comes through. Yes, Eagle.
I was just gonna say it's just like the famous movie. Anyone can win on any given come day.
And even come there, man.
Oh yes.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
but yeah, so
yeah,
like,
I agree
but like
with you.
right now, like again, you look at Division E2, like it's hard to dispute Los Avocados, Guardians, One Speed Power, underdogs,
Why? It's
and then
easy
there's
to
like number 1,
It's easy to dispute one speed power, but go on.
5-1, man.
Yeah, okay.
Just saying.
They have the worst receiver in the league.
That's what it is. So sorry, Daniel Bornstein. No, but the thing is, like, the one I am curious about is how you guys are gonna handle like teams like number 1, who are fine, but like, are they truly any one team? What about Zone 6 Ballers? What about EZW, like you talked about?
Yeah.
Like, is EZW gonna move up to E1 and be one and done? You know,
Yeah.
So-
and will a team let's say like you see a team in like the central schedule, let's say like let's say One Speed Power, your schedule's easy, so you move even though you're top, maybe you fall down to E2 playoffs while another team moves up into E1 playoffs.
Yeah,
So
and that
who
team that
needs-
moves up, sorry, Mo. That
Go
team
ahead,
that
Mo.
moves up, if they lose, they go one and done, right? They lose the first round,
They might
then they could come back at us and say, "What the fuck? We could have won E2."
try to relax with the swearing there. It's still
The
really
Cleveland Cavaliers select Colin Sexton.
Wow, I called this game last year when he played against McGill.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Nice.
You could tell he was NBA bound. Like he was just head and shoulders above everyone else.
especially compared to McGill.
Yeah, well, when I played McGill, yes, so you can tell. But that's a good pick for the Cavs. I like that pick.
So,
Carry on.
so if a team's being pushed up division because of us, because of our own bias, and then they go one and done, they could very well turn around and say,
Yep.
"We should have been in E2. We might have won in E2, and now you took that away from us."
What you do is what happens is like when you're like sleeping with a girl and then her boyfriend gets home. Sorry, bro.
Who
There you go.
needs a win to really convince, say, Simone and I right now?
Out of-
I'll ask Peasy because for us, we're just- We're blind eyes. to
Those
this
middle
one
of the pack teams like EZW, Bulldogs.
Bulldogs just got a decent win, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know that might be one of the like it's in retrospect that might be the win. But then like what if Savages then lose the next 4 games?
True.
You know what I mean? So
True.
it's dynamic in that way, you know. So I'd say EW is a good example of that because of the things you said. And like Average Joe's, like beat a team with wins, and we'll start taking you serious again. You know.
It's true. It's fair.
But even for EZW, I feel like I would be impressed if they make the jump into E1 with the amount of wins that they have. Because if they fly under the radar and just stick around to the top of E2,
Yeah.
they'll roll.
Well,
over the
their
rest of the
team is
teams.
plush
They
of talent.
probably can. Yeah.
They have a lot of talent. on that team.
Absolutely.
So they're in the wrong division. We all know that.
If they end up being the 1 seed,
Well, yes and no, but that's what the
it will
season's
be
for, right?
Yeah. If they end up being the 1 seed in the E2 playoffs, it's going to be bad news for the whoever they face
Yeah.
in the first round.
I would like to see Savages. Savages is.
But don't forget,
could
teams
have a
from
big
E1
win.
will fall too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there a team in E1 with like a rusher who can contain Jeremy White and a defender who can help contain Theo Levine? You know.
Maybe.
Yes, Eagle.
I was just gonna say for other names that are interesting, everyone I did last summer.
Why did
Oh,
you have to
boy.
preface with names that were interesting? You could have just said everyone I did last summer.
Thank you, Jim,
Speaking of
for telling him how to do his job.
Hey.
Tips on how to defend.
Okay. That's that.
keep scoring.
Are you going more in details? Or?
Well, I was going to ask Peeze because he wants to bring this point up because the teams in E2, I believe, having the inability to defend properly. What are your tips?
Oh, okay.
Easy.
Like tips on how to play
Um,
defense in FPF.
So
What did
like-
teams do against you guys?
If it's me, just stand there. I'll throw the ball to you eventually. But no.
Hey, I do that too.
One of the things is like, teams are fairly stagnant. They don't change their defense, and they show their defense before. So like line up 5 across and communicate and change calls depending on what you see.
We have a write-in
Yes.
from Rob Campana.
Oh,
Hi, Rob.
oh boy. Hey.
What is the likelihood an E2 team wins the D1 championship? 0.
0, because they need the E1 championship. Although Eagle, I think you had a name of a movie that was apt to answer Rob's question, specifically about teams in E2 moving up
Oh,
to
that's
E1.
favorite of Rob's, whatever that is.
Yes, it was Goodwill Humping.
Goodwill Humping,
Oh,
Rob.
yeah, he loves that on
Goodwill Humping.
Wednesdays.
But
yeah.
like a team from E2 moving up to E1. Look, I
No,
think
it's a D1.
the D1 impossible.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's E1, I think there's a
slight
chance a
chance.
team like Avocados and Guardians
Maybe.
could move up and do damage. You know, I think EZW, if they have the right sort of matchups
With the right
for them.
matchups, I think any team in E2 that we.
I don't think there's a world of difference in sort of like. The
I mean, if
top
they're
teams
good
in
enough
E2,
to
top
move
teams.
up, right?
Exactly.
Like, let's not curse at teams like Zamatar Sack, but they're not going to win in E1.
Well, they're
No.
new,
But
you
of the
know?
teams from E2 that move up to E1, they still have to respect the same cap as those teams who are already
Exactly.
in E1. So there's not that much of a difference in the
Talent
talent
gap.
distribution. Exactly.
Yeah.
And like sometimes we just don't know guys. Like the teams might be very good, we just don't know them yet. Look at Underdogs, 5-1.
Yep.
Now the thing is, one of the things is that these teams that move up and can be competitive. One of the things that they can do is again communicate on defense, learn how to call different play calls, and learn how to do that. And one of the things too is they stare at the quarterback's eyes. I always say when I was coaching FPF Junior, read the routes, not the quarterback. So read the concept. So if it's post and wheel, you need to adjust. If it's like a triple deep, you need to adjust. You can't just stay there and guard grass. So if you're guarding nobody, where are you moving to support?
Yeah,
If you're actually, you know what? I'm gonna make fun of Eagle.
Oh,
The last game we played, we didn't play this past week. We played it against Sandbaggers. Eagle was in 4-1, and he kept calling. Eagle was in 4-1, and they kept moving to trips. At one point, I had to yell at him and say, "It doesn't work because they keep crossing with intermediate routes. It's the thing you do to break 4-1. It's literally the thing you do. You send a post and an intermediate route underneath, and you've stretched the entire defense, and you're giving up 20 yards at a time."
If only you had a defensive captain.
Yelling at him. It's the angriest I've been at Eagle in a long time.
I did not have a good game.
You did not have a good game that
you had a
day.
terrible game.
So in a more tangible tip I could give is when you're trying to tackle somebody, don't go for a flag, go for the belt. Always go for if you can grab the belt, you won't miss. If you grab the flags, then it could slip out of your hands, whatever. So if you have a chance, belt over flags.
Also, it's angles
Always.
and how you approach the ball carrier, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's you sort of, and if for those who see it from the level that we're at when we scorekeep when you guys play, if you're if you have the sidelines as your ally, you sort of cut the angle off and you force that ball carrier to literally have no room to run anywhere and minimize himself and just either force them out or get that flag.
I was gonna say, even to that degree, if you're not gonna be able to make a play on the player just because you're not gonna get there, try and funnel him into a direction where other people can make a play potentially.
Or the sideline
right?
can.
Yes. Well, sideline is one, but let's say, for example, he's middle of the field. Don't chase him. Funnel him into other DBs, right? Don't let him cut back towards you.
Yeah, so like if you have a defender opposite the side of the receiver with the ball, don't attack the opposite hip. Attack the inside hip because somebody else already has the outside hip.
Yeah.
Or the worst thing possible, is the player turning the corner up the sideline and there's no help.
Yeah.
You are. Oh, here we go. We're going live right now. Here we go.
Team NBA draft. The New York Knicks select Kevin Knox.
Oh, Brent, your team is so terrible, Brent Bakken. Oh my God.
To be fair, Mo would have said that about any pick they made.
This is now guaranteed that Kevin.
Everyone's booing. Every single person is booing. It's amazing. That kid's gonna cry. Sorry, kid. You have no future. Your life is terrible. Sorry, man.
Yeah, I think this wishful
Poor
wishful
kid.
thinking. That's
John
what
Calipari's like,
I feel bad for Kevin Knox.
John
know,
Calipari's
right?
like, man, what happened to my team? What happened to my player? He went to the Knicks. Anyway, so we're saying about tackles.
Yeah, if you're the last guy, like you're playing corner, if you're the last guy on the outside, push him back inside. Don't let him go up the
Yeah,
side.
the sideline's only there when you absolutely have the angle.
Yeah.
If you don't have the angle,
You're-
push him back
you're-
outside.
Yeah,
You're-
push him back
you're toast.
inside
Sorry.
because there's guys coming inside. They're not coming from the sideline.
You're toast, though.
It's illegal
If,
if you
if they get that corner on you when they turn up the field, you're toast.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest thing for you to do. But that's it, though. But we always recommend to watch perhaps Game of the Weeks or even old FPF finals.
And reach out to us.
Yeah.
I started to answer. I spoke to Tropic Thunder this week, helping them out on offense.
Ooh, they had a back game.
I'm writing an email to Ocard, which is not completed yet because it's long AF, but it's getting there. And like the thing is, like some of these teams, it's not about learning this season; it's about growing for future seasons.
Yes, you am.
We have a write-in.
Oh.
Hi, Brayden.
David De La Rocca.
Yo.
Hey.
So, putting bacon in a grilled cheese no longer makes it a grilled cheese. It becomes a bacon sandwich. Truth or not? Truth, yes, it is no longer a grilled cheese. It becomes a melt. Anything but cheese, bread, and butter is
I'm
no
not very
longer
familiar
grilled
I would
cheese.
say that if you put bacon in it, what you're also doing is not putting ham, so it's like a Monte
No, you are
Cristo for
putting
people
ham.
who aren't a bitch.
I'm not very familiar with
Nice.
the Razorback eats that you guys like to consume.
Yeah, sorry, man. Your family was born from the wrong place, I guess.
I guess
I'm
we
not
were.
gonna say Monte Cristos are the bomb.
You mentioned this, Peasy, the lemons and whether cowards.
So
How
I
can we
will say,
turn
so
lemons to
cowards,
lemonade?
because you clearly didn't want to face us. I get it. We were going to beat you down. It happens. I will say, I'm happy they reached out ahead of time to say that they weren't going to be
Yeah,
able
at
to
least
be
they give
there.
you a heads up.
That's nice. However, find some guys. We all made our Father's Day plans, so we were available on Sunday. So if we could have done it,
So
you could have done it.
here's the question for you: does that devalue your win total?
No, we're going to beat them by 70. They're lucky to
No,
show
you
up.
weren't gonna beat them by 70. That's
90.
not-
No,
no,
neither.
No, maybe like 20.
Nope.
25.
His name's not Will Weak, it's Will Power.
Yeah, I understand, but does that say, hey, well, because that
Listen,
forfeit?
hey, listen, I'm going to be an analyst for every other team. I'm going to be a hype man for my team. So,
A hype man.
yeah.
Or you like that girl in that old Nicki Minaj movie, the
That's
hype
right.
girl?
Yeah, that's me. I am what I am.
That was you in their life. I would have to say this sort of devalues a little bit once P Power playoff ranking.
So because we didn't beat a winless
no,
team.
because you have one less win.
Yeah, and it's by 60.
You're like
points.
4-1 now.
Okay.
Okay, but
The winning percentage is better.
Yeah,
You're
but it's
4-1.
like the equivalent of Alabama rolling through like whatever South Carolina A&T.
So if that game was forfeited, for example,
Yes.
you would devalue Alabama, even though they were going to win that game.
No, but they win by 60 points no matter what, right? This is like
But I'm saying, like, who was going to win that game?
Okay.
Who was going to win that game? Honestly.
Alabama's going to win. No,
No,
question
but I'm saying
about
this
it.
game. Once we power lemons,
Okay.
who's
Yeah, but
going
you
to
weren't
win
going to win by 60 though. Like that's the whole point.
okay, so,
you probably win by what?
the
20?
devalue is
plus
not the right word.
minus maybe is different, but
But the plus minus
win's
doesn't
still the
matter.
win.
No, but the devalue is not the right word. I don't think it adds.
Like if it was if that was our only game, it was Guardians, and it was our only really tough
Completely
bet.
agree
Let's
then.
just say,
no,
hold
I
on,
don't
let's
think it
just say-
devalues. I think it just doesn't add value.
Fair.
It doesn't take
Yeah.
away anything from you guys.
Yeah.
But it also, if you would have beat up on him 60-0, that would have added value to your team. You would say, okay, Owens Power is really strong.
Add value again. His name's not Will Weak.
So hold on. Let's say your team had 10 games of forfeits, and you go 10-0, and you get 60-0 wins.
What are the
Yeah.
odds?
So,
But I'm saying in that case, there's some games we probably would not have won. This game, like if I had to give you $1,000 to put in a game,
But you're saying-
if I had to give you $1,000 before the game, who would you put it on?
I'll put on lemonade. But I'm just saying.
Who are you putting on, GM? That game.
Lemonade.
No, I would have been on clinkers.
Well, y'all would have lost.
But you're
no,
saying.
no, you guys clearly don't know how gambling
But you're
works.
saying
Well, no, 'cause
that
they played
you're
Tropic Thunder.
telling me you guys can beat them 60-0.
Yeah,
No, I don't
There's
think
no
so.
way.
100%.
I don't
I'm open.
There's no way you're gonna beat the team 60-0.
I'm open.
open.
Open. Yeah, you're open
100%.
the sidelines.
All day, baby.
He was. I was there.
We spoke about it briefly. The Anthony Seja injury
Yeah.
and the woes that continue to
Yeah.
hit pension plan
So I spoke to Anthony CJ before his game. He's
Yeah.
very upset.
at us or at
Uh,
himself.
Both.
At
What's he
life.
upset
So
for?
so essentially, I'll give it as he described it. I wasn't there. Rob Campana wasn't there. Simo wasn't there. Like none of the FPF like people like the
Mo, where
inner
were you?
workings. Mo wasn't there. Like so like
Mo, come on.
it
I was
wasn't
nowhere there.
it wasn't the guys who work for FPF who like work on the insides of FPF who were there to be able to discern what happened. But what he described was ball was thrown over the middle. Mickey Marini jumped on his back, pulled both of his arms back, and with his legs pinned his legs. So it drove him into the ground, and he went knee first, and like he completely displaced his knee. He basically can't run for 3 or 4 weeks. And he wrote an email to the league. Now, unfortunately, what happened was the referees, when they saw the play, didn't experience what Anthony CJ experienced. Obviously, they from their angle, it must not have looked as bad. From the scorekeeper's angle, it must not have looked as bad because a penalty was called, but there was no write up, and we followed up. We followed up with the referees
we
and
asked,
scorekeeper,
right?
and they said, yeah, it was a bad, it was a bad play, but it was a penalty. It was enforced. So, look, in the end, when it comes to suspensions and things, it's always going to be a judgment call, and especially in a case where, like, it's impossible to expect myself, GM, Mo, Simo, Rob, like. We can't be at every field. We're a massive league.
We don't film every game.
We're not your uncle's soccer league, because what's a soccer? But with like 100+ teams, we can't be everywhere. So we need to trust our referees. We need to trust our scorekeepers. And like Anthony CJ has no reason to lie.
No,
Right.
he's been a good guy.
And but even at that, what does he gain by lying? Like he's already played against them, so
Yeah.
it doesn't help him in any way to get another person suspended.
Eagle.
He was just
I-
aggravated.
I missed it, but Bridges went to the 76ers.
Okay,
Man, come on, Eagle.
okay.
He's in the middle of a talk. What do you want me to do?
Mikael Bridges, man. Villanova kid going to play for the Sixers, man.
It's
Come
pretty
on.
good. It's pretty
That's a
big.
good pick, by the way. Anyway.
Yeah,
That's it. That's my
No,
point.
so I don't disagree with you, but you're right. We don't film every game, so we don't have tape on everything. Every incident
We
that
can't
happens.
review things.
We're
the way the
actually
NFL
pretty
does.
lucky. The
Yeah.
fact that a lot of the incidents that we had in the past,
The
were
worst
filmed
ones always seem to be on film.
somehow. So that's lucky in a certain way that we have like tape and we can review it and whatever. Sadly, in these cases,
What about the referees wearing like GoPros?
They have. George Leiter wore GoPro.
But what if they all wear it so there's
We
stuff
had
for
the-
us to
Are you
review?
gonna pay for it?
Yeah, who has the money to pay for the GoPros, right? That's the
I mean,
question.
I mean,
I mean, what if we get a GoPro as a sponsor?
I mean,
My
Mocon's
question.
making good money.
Perhaps I am.
We could cut a salary off.
Speaking of making good money here.
We're already making
Yes,
budget
Eagle.
cuts.
I was just gonna say, if we're gonna get some films, we should definitely check out Gangbangs of New York.
Oh.
Nice.
5 points, baby. 5 points.
We already
It's
have
now
budget cuts with no scoreboards on most field.
Yeah. Thanks, Nick.
There's
Thanks,
one
Nick
here
below.
outside. It's 0-0.
Yeah, Nick below. Thank you very much. All right, it is now time for a week of the game.
Week of the games.
I'll do a breakdown of the teams. You guys will pick it because, as you know, follow Marc André's article for all the picks.
What are you,
Which-
like a grutier?
What?
What are you, a grutier?
Yeah.
Pick it. Get it. Yeah. What was
All right, here we go. Game number 1.
It was
Vultures fighting flamingos.
Give me the Vultures, man.
Flamingos.
I'm done with Flamingos. Sorry, Miles Keller.
So in a game between the upstart Vultures, fun, exciting, and the Flamingos, old and boring, you guys already made your picks, but thanks for letting me set that up for you.
No
Gotcha,
problem.
bro.
Next.
Brewers Oakhart.
Brewers Orchard, 2 of the teams that have been struggling. Brewers coming in with Christopher Moret's second season with his team. Oakhart still struggling. I have the lowest points for in the division.
Brewers.
30.
Yee, 30.
I think. Well, it was
Yeah,
30 after
Brewers.
week 5, sorry.
Yeah, give me Oak Card for the upset. Let's go.
Next.
A-side, Green Means Go.
Green Means Go was a team we had high expectations for, but not quite there yet, although they're improving. Aside, Jared Buck, he's blonde as hell, but the team is not performing up to expectations.
Green means go.
Give me the buck. Jared Buck.
Next, last game.
He'll give you the book.
Speaking
Zone
of poor
6
names,
ballers, sandbaggers.
Tough loss for them. Carry on.
Sorry, what was the two teams?
for the ballers.
Zone 6 ballers.
Zone 6 ballers.
Zone 6 ball
Sandbaggers.
coming off a loss. Sandbaggers coming off their first win. One team maybe a little too hyped, while the other perhaps a little forgotten.
Give me Zone 6 ballers.
Yeah, ballers.
And between your favorite 90s TV show, Beverly Hills 90210 Ho, or Buffy the Vampire Lair.
That's a Peeze special. TJF, here we come. All right, magic words, please.
Mo, what's your favorite type of porn?
Good night, Argentina.
I love Argentinian porn. It's so good. It's artistic. It's
different.
Like, some of those movies can premiere in Cannes. I would watch it. Like,
Cannes?
seriously, we can. Oh,
You probably wouldn't win anything.
it's
but-
the wrong kind of cans, I would imagine.